U.S. President Barack Obama has acknowledged that U.S. intelligence agents tortured some people during Washington's so-called War on Terror following the September 11, 2001 attacks.
Even before I came into office, I was very clear that in the immediate aftermath of 9/11, we did some things that were wrong. We did a whole lot of things that were right, but we tortured some folks. We did some things that were contrary to our values.
But Obama tried to justify the widespread use of the so-called harsh interrogation technique, saying U.S. intelligence personnel were under extreme pressure following the events of 9/11. He made the remarks days ahead of the release of a declassified Senate report on intelligence agents' abuse of people accused of terror links. Washington has been criticized for widespread human rights abuses at its CIA-run prisons overseas between 2002 and 2006. Meanwhile, a U.S. appeals court has upheld the Obama administration's new search procedures for Guantanamo Bay detainees, which include invasive practices such as frisking of anal and groin areas. The court rejected the argument that the police discourages inmates from consulting with defense lawyers. Joining us from Idaho via Skype is J. Bruce Campbell. He's a researcher and activist. Many thanks for joining us here on Press TV, Mr. Campbell. Now, Obama's justification for these widespread torture techniques, do you think it's because he is not going to take any legal action against the perpetrators within the intelligence community, or is it because he knows that then he will be implicated too with regards to the actions that are taking place in Guantanamo till today?
Well, he's made it official that America is a terrorist government, the CIA is a terrorist organization, and Obama is a terrorist leader, just as Bush was before him. Really, all U.S. presidents since at least Roosevelt and Truman have practiced state terrorism, especially Truman, of course. Besides dropping 2 nuclear bombs on civilians, Truman helped the Jewish terrorists take over Palestine in 1948. And Eisenhower used the CIA in 1953 for Operation Ajax, the overthrow of democracy in your country, in order to perpetuate the theft of your resources by British Petroleum. And that's usually what's behind U.S. state terrorism, the theft of someone else's property. Obama is the king of state terrorism, as demonstrated by his sadistic use of Predator drones and Hellfire missiles against helpless civilians in several countries. The U.S. supports Israel's terrorism because Israel does Washington's dirty work. It's not that Israel is out of control. America is run by Jews, and Israel follows Jewish orders from New York and Washington. The Mossad was created by the CIA's James Angleton in 1951, I remember. The Jewish massacre of Gaza is U.S. foreign policy, which is proven by the Congress's 100% approval of the massacre. And you just had Lindsey Graham saying that given millions of dollars worth of offensive weapons to the Israeli terrorists. America has been run by Jews since the administration of Woodrow Wilson, Samuel Untermeyer, Louis Brandeis, Bernard Baruch, Felix Frankfurter, Chaim Weizmann. Those Jews blackmailed Wilson into waging war against Germany and Turkey so that Palestine would be given to the Russian Jews, according to the so-called Balfour Declaration. Wilson helped Jewish terrorists take over Russia in 1917, which was the first indication of how Jews treat people when they have power. People have been encouraged to forget that historical fact. But today, the world can see in Gaza how Jews treat people when they have total control over them. Maybe some ignorant American Christians can take a lesson from Gaza. America tortures, and America is a terrorist state because America is run by the worst terrorists in history, the Jews. The Jews are being allowed by the U.S. government to do what has always come naturally to them.
All right, I'm going to have to stop you there, Mr. Campbell. We've run out of time. That was J. Bruce Campbell, researcher and activist, joining us via Skype from Idaho. Thank you very much for your comments here on Press TV, sir.